Happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm Kelly Manzone. Thank you for joining me today. We are sticking with the theme of priming for Mace training. So in the last few classes that I did, I covered the traditional swing of the 10 and 2 and the 360, and I had some requests to incorporate a few exercises that don't require swinging. So we are going to cover today a great Rdl variation, a dead bug variation with the steel mace, along with, if we have time for, a half kneeling overhead press. For today's class, we're going to need our two long sticks, and if you don't own stick mobility, you could use a PVC pipe, wooden dowel, whatever you have access to. And we also need our short stick. Now, if you have a towel or a pillow or a pad nearby, we are going to be in a half kneeling position. To get started, we're going to begin with a warm-up. Now the camera flips me, so this is my left side, but I'm going to call it my right so that you could follow along. Beginning with our two long sticks, we're going to go into a knee down lunge, taking the right leg forward, left leg back. And your sticks are going to go right in line with your hips. Take your arms up high, almost getting a little bit of traction through that upper body. And I want you to anchor with the ball of the back foot. Engage your left glute, and then you're going to gently push the hip slightly forward so you're getting that nice length into the hip and down into the thigh. And I'm pushing into the sticks, into the floor, about 20-30% of my strength. And then we're going to add a little bit of a rotation, opening into the left side, taking a breath or two, and then through center, slight rotation going inward into the right thigh. Hold here, and then come back through center. We're going to anchor with that ball of the back foot, drive down through the heel and flat foot of our front right leg. And now we're going to go into a high lunge position. From here, once again, adding that rotation so you could go a little bit deeper into your stretch, and then pass through center up and over to the other side. We're going to do this 2 times. Through center, opening to the left, and I'm driving again down into the floor with that stick. Inward to the right. Pause here. And as we lower our left knee down, we're going to warm up our hamstring. You're going to take your sticks right to the shoulders, take the palms, press down into the stick, and then we're going to take the right leg forward, flex through the foot, and we're going to do more of a dynamic stretch here. So I'm going to return the right foot flat, then draw back. So I'm using the sticks to help me maintain nice length through the spine and open chest. And as I come forward, again, squeezing into that left glute, inhale, exhale, draw back and lengthen. We are going to be doing an Rdl variation later in class, really focusing on that posterior chain. Hold here and then do a little wiper. So you're going to rotate the toes inward and outward. Again, elevate the chest, outward with the toes, inward, recenter, flatten your foot, slide the sticks in, arms up high. You could drive down into the floor, come to your standing position, and then we're going to transition to the other side. Left leg forward, right knee to the floor, so if you need that pillow or pad, you could use it. Sticks right in line with the hips, holding up nice and high, driving down into the floor. Again, you're engaging your right glute, setting that hip forward. Hold for a breath or two through center. Then we're going to open gently, just a little bit to the right, and then inward to the left. So be mindful of your alignment with your hips, right? You don't want to sink the hips out to the side, knee in line with the hip. Again, through center to your right, and inward. As we pass through center, you're going to create that stability. Front left foot nice and flat, anchor with the ball of your back right foot. Press up into a high plank. Lean back just gently, then you're going to squeeze that back right glute. Open, inward to the right. Just like we did on the other side. To the left. One more time before we work into our hamstring. Through center. And lower your knee to the floor. I'm going to go a little bit on a diagonal here. Taking the two long sticks to your shoulder line. When you're ready, again, we're creating stability. Take the arms, lengthen. You're going to flex that foot. Hinge forward slightly. And then flatten the foot, go into lunge. So instead of having huge anterior tilt, I want you to squeeze that glute, lift the belly, lengthen the lower back, and drive back into the hamstring stretch, and then forward with a flat foot. It's got a nice release through my hip. Let's do this a couple of times, and then we're going to work into that foot articulation. Again, this is a great primer for our Rdl variation coming up, and then gently windshield wiper toes inward and outward. Excellent. And if you ever have any questions on where to acquire a Mace or a Gada, you could message me directly. I'm at KelsBells88 on Instagram. And now we're going to take the sticks to the inside arch of our feet, lengthen your arms, over to your right, and now we're going to hip hinge forward. So while you're here, you want to make sure that your chin could comfortably pass over the bicep, and then we're going to dip that left shoulder down towards the left foot. When we're doing our Mace work, especially with the swinging, eyes lead the head, and we often use our eyes to keep track of where the Mace head is. So even though we're not going to cover swinging like we did in previous classes, just want you to do a few neck articulations. So you're going to inhale and exhale as you're working right behind that left shoulder. Good, let's do one more. That bottom arm is nice and straight, coming across. Come up through center. And now arms to your left. Hip hinge forward. I'm pushing down into the floor with the sticks about 20%. Then dip right shoulder down towards the right foot, slightly going into those articulations. Again, focusing on eyes, leading the head, so we're working into the vestibular system also. Focus on your breathing. Excellent. Come center and slowly come up. Taking this stretch a little bit further. You're going to heel, toe out, wider. Sticks once again, inside arch of the feet, over to your right side. Now we're going to have a significant bend into that left knee, pulling our body weight back. And now instead of having our bottom left arm close to the body, I'm going to have you drive it out on a diagonal. Hold here. Gripping the ground with your feet. Feel like your feet are pulling apart the floor below you. So the toes of that right foot are facing forward, getting a nice stretch through the inner thigh and into the groin. Hold. Slowly come up and over to the other side. Now, that right arm comes across on that diagonal, still driving down into the floor with that left arm. Move the head just a little bit. Eyes up and down. Take a breath. Come through center. One more. Reach. Pull the body weight back. Hold for a breath or two. Through center. Come across. Now, instead of going forward into the ball of the foot, pull your body weight back. Get a little bit of a hang with that upper body. Excellent. Now, as we press into the feet and come up, take your sticks forward, heel, toe in gently so you don't shock your hips. We're going to angle both sticks inward towards us, top the stick outward. You're about hip width apart, working into the lats. Simply hip hinge forward. Take a breath, exhale. I'm driving down into the sticks, and I want to go a little bit deeper into the shoulder girdle. So I'm going to corkscrew my knuckles just a little bit, rolling the knuckles forward. Taking a breath. Push into the feet. Round your spine. Slowly come up. Take that rotation out of the knuckles. Another breath. Inhale, exhale, hip hinge forward. Let the upper body relax into the stretch, then corkscrew the knuckles. Breathe. Hold here for 2 breaths. And then push into the feet, tuck, and slowly roll up. Great. I'm gonna warm up our hip line just with a couple of Captain Morgans here. So your right arm is forward, left arm out to the side. So either 12 and 3 or 12 and 9. Taking the left foot, we're gonna take it forward to 12 o'clock. Pushing into the stick, mid-arch of the foot. Drive up, draw that knee up. Open out to the side, push that knee back. Making contact with the stick, slide down. Inhale, exhale, draw up. Close and lower. Good, let's do one more here, nice and slow. So push down into the sticks. If you're having trouble keeping stability, you could bend your elbows slightly. Okay, drawing up. Inhale, exhale, push that knee back. Slowly lower. Keep that foot flexed. Draw up, good. Close the door and slowly lower. Great. Shake it out, going over to the other side. Left arm 12 o'clock, right arm out to your side. Flex that right foot. Pull up, open, knee goes back. You'll notice the difference between your right and left side. Keep that foot flexed, draw up, close. Again, stay in contact with the stick, not too fast. Focus on your breath and your alignment. Find a focal point. Open, lower with control. Draw up, perfect, and then close. Gently lower, well done. We're gonna take one long stick to the ground now, working into some bow and arrow variations. So you're gonna go a little bit wider than hip width, bottom hand right at your hip line or where your sticker is, top right hand, thumb faces down, palm faces forward. In your bow and arrow, you want to press out with the hips first, then with the upper body. Instead of the tailbone being back, take your tailbone under. You're like taking that inside left shoulder down away from the ear. Chin is neutral. If you want to get into your front line a little bit, you're just going to angle and look upward towards the ceiling. Come back to neutral, so a little bit of hip flossing. Angle, look upward again towards the ceiling. And then center. One more here. Angle, look upward, push down into that left foot, and slowly come out of your bow and arrow. Well done. Stick outside of the right foot, about 3 inches or so. Left hand, thumb down, palm facing forward, bottom hand at hip line. Pressing out with the hips, follow through with the upper body, taking your tailbone under. Again, that bottom right shoulder, nice and relaxed. You have a little bit of leverage with that top left arm. And then we're gonna angle, look upward, and then back to center. Push into the feet, angle, look upward, hold for a breath or two, and then we realign. Last one here, angle, look upward, hold. Take a moment, come center, and gently come out of your stretch. So last one before we go into our priming for our steel mace RDL. You're gonna take your stick to your lower back, palms facing forward. We're about hip width apart. Hip hinge, we're gonna take this right side. Now I wanna keep our hips essentially still, so you're not shifting your body weight. Working a little bit into T-spine here, right hand over towards the left as far as you can comfortably. Also working a little bit into that front line, so you may get a nice stretch and opener through the pec down into the shoulder, down into the bicep and forearm. While we're here, look upward towards the ceiling and then slowly downward towards the floor. Again, upward towards the ceiling, and then downward towards the floor. Lift and elevate that bottom, and then we hip hinge, keeping that hip hinge, I should say. Left side coming across to the right, look upward and downward. Excellent. One more, upward, and then downward towards the floor. We release, push into the feet, and slowly come to stand. So I just want to quickly give a little bit of a background between the difference between a Gada, traditional from India, and the steel mace that you'll find typically on the market these days. Steel mace, this one is a little bit shorter of a lever, and the distribution of weight, though there's not a lot of weight in the handle, this one is 15 pounds. It is quite different feedback than from a traditional Gada. This one is made out of thin bamboo and is 13 pounds, longer lever, and all of the weight is concentrated in the mace head. This one's made out of concrete at the bottom and bamboo. I have ones that are also made with wood. In the previous classes, we covered the basic techniques of how to create the proper pendulum in the backswing, proper cast of the mace head, a couple of warm-up drills, and we did a breakdown of the 10 and 2 and the 360. For the work that we're doing today, I'm going to just kind of, I already said it in the beginning of class, we're going to cover some non-swinging steel mace variations. Now, I can use some of my Gadas for offset work depending on the drill. It depends if the bamboo has a crack in it, or like I said before, all the weight is concentrated at the head of the mace and a longer lever. Having a shorter lever sometimes, and with a little bit of distribution throughout, could make it a little bit easier for certain exercises. So we're going to start with an Rdl variation using our stick mobility long stick, the 6-footer or 7-footer, and we're going to do that offset variation and then use the mace for the same variation. You're going to feel that cross-body tension. So I'm going on a diagonal here. I'm going to take my right palm facing upward towards the ceiling. My left hand is going to be the one that's driving down across the body. And in our steel mace variation, there's going to be a push-pull with our upper body also. So right foot is flat. Find a focal point. You're going to elevate that left foot off the floor. Left hand is going to come across. So as we go on a diagonal, I'm going to push across. So I'm squared off through the hip line, and I'm pulling and engaging that right lat, left arm pressing across. Really feeling that core fire up. Inhale, exhale, come to stand. So we're going to do 3 in a row, and then transition to our steel mace, and then repeat on the other side. So again, I'm on a diagonal with the right palm up, left hand coming across, and I'm stabilizing on my inside right foot. Find your focal point. Inhale, exhale. So you're going into that Rdl, bottom arm, pressing across towards the right, staying nice and squared. Squeeze the glute. Inhale, exhale. Come to stand. Let's do 2 more. Push cross. Hold at the bottom. Find that nice length through your spine. Inhale. Exhale. Come to stand. 1 more here. Hip hinge. Find that focal point. Push. Top right arm. Activate, pulling into that lat. Hold. Stay with it. Inhale. Exhale. Come to stand. Now, there are a few variations for using your steel mace for an Rdl. Just going to show you one variation. Now, I'm still going to be on the right side, but I'm going to turn around here so that you could see that right side. If you need a regression, the closer you hold to the mace head, the more assistance you're going to have. So you won't feel that load of that offset tension with that long lever, the mace head pulling you down. If you want to make it more challenging, you're going to hold just about hip width apart. This bottom left hand is going to be pushing down, and my top right hand here, the one that's facing towards you, closer to you, is going to be pulling. So even if I just lift my left foot off of the floor, I'm going to feel that left hand pressing down, right arm pulling up. Finding a focal point, hip hinge forward. So, oops, I'm going slow. Now, you're going to hold at the bottom, take a breath, squeeze that glute, stay nice and centered. Inhale, exhale, come to stand. Let's do that 2 more times. Hip hinge, find that focal point. You're really working that foot-ankle complex, working through the lat, working the core. Slowly come to stand. You can tap your foot down if needed. Okay, again, last one here. Nice and controlled, maintain that length. I'm driving down with that left hand, pulling up with the right. Inhale, exhale, come to stand. I love these. So they're a great drill. You don't need a lot of reps. I do like slowing down the tempo because that is going to make it a little bit more challenging. So we're going to go over to the other side. Now, using our stick, I'm going to be stabilizing and working that posterior chain on the left. Right leg is going to stay squared as I draw back into that hip hinge. So find your setup. Again, left palm facing upward. Bottom right hand is going to come across. Find your focal point, hip hinge. You may need to move around a little bit to find your alignment. Hold at the bottom. Inhale, exhale, come to stand. Nice and slow. So we just have 2 more. Focus on that hinge. That inside left knee is soft. You're squared off that back. Right foot is flexed, heel facing upward towards the ceiling. Toes, knee, thigh, hip, pointing downward, nice and parallel. Come to stand. Good. Let's do 1 more. Hinge, drive across with that right arm. Lift the belly, length through the spine. Remember, you're activating that left lat. Hold, inhale, exhale, come to stand. Great. Stick down. Now let's do it with our steel mace. I'm going to turn on this diagonal again so that you can see with the mace head on the outside. Just a quick review. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you could hold closer to the mace head. If you want to make it more challenging, you're going to hold further down on the lever, about hip width apart. So I'm stabilizing on that left foot. My right hand is pressing down, pulling up with that left, packing that shoulder, engaging that lat. Finding focal point. Everything is squared. Come to parallel. That mace is staying nice and balanced. Inhale, exhale, come to stand. Good. Let's do 2 more. Find that length. That left knee is soft. You're gripping the ground. Again, we're not rounding. Inhale, exhale, come to stand. If you need to, tap that foot down. Last one. I'm pushing down with the right hand, pulling up with the left. Again, mace staying nice and balanced. Really working through that foot ankle posterior line. Inhale, exhale, come to stand. Great. So well done. Now we're going to move on to the dead bug variation because I do believe that Ray in his previous class covered the steel mace half kneeling overhead press, and I'm always amazed. I plan out class ahead of time and it's only 45 minutes, and I can't get to everything that I kind of want to get to. So I did want to make sure that we try the offset dead bug variation, but we'll do that now, and we'll see where we're at for the press. So I just want to use the stick mobility, the short stick, to kind of prime for our pattern. Now, if you want a modification or a regression, I like doing my dead bugs with straight legs. So here's the variation we're going to start with. If you need to have your knees bent, like if you have any pull in your lower back, your hamstrings are restricting you, you could again keep the knees bent. You would lower the leg, inhale, exhale, and draw it back up. Those of you that are comfortable with extending your legs, please try the straight leg variation if possible. Your head could be elevated. You're with a slight tuck of the chin. You're keeping the rib cage closed. You could also lower your head. If you're more comfortable with a pad or a pillow behind your neck, you could do that too. So taking the legs up, we're going to flex the feet. So the stick is a little bit above the knees, couple of inches. Arms are wide, and instead of having the elbows pointing out and the shoulders hiking up, take a moment, corkscrew those elbows in, drop the shoulders. Now I'm pushing my thighs forward into the stick, and then I'm pushing the stick forward into the thighs. I got a slight tip up tuck of my tailbone, so my lower back is pressing against the floor. Inhale, lower the leg. Exhale, draw the leg back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, back up. We're just going to do 2 more on each side, nice and slow and controlled. Push, push, push. Light up that front line. Breathe. Good. 1 more. Drive down through the left heel, or right, excuse me. Breathe. And then left leg lowers. And slowly take it back up. Take a moment. Soften the knees, lower your feet to the floor. Do a wiper, so if the knees are going to the left, your eyes are going to the right. And then if the eyes are going to the, knees are going to the right, eyes are going to the left. Now, before we pick up our mace, I'm just going to walk through unloaded. So if you don't own a steel mace, you could do this with your stick mobility stick. So same position. If you need a regression, you're going to keep the knees bent. If you want to do the straight leg variation, you're going to lengthen legs, flex the feet. So my inside left palm is facing up, outside right hand palm is facing down. As I lower the right leg, my left arm is going to go back. I'm going to pull apart on the stick and left bicep in line with the ear. Inhale, exhale, square off. And again, right leg lowers. I'm pulling apart on the stick. Left arm goes back, and then we return to center. So we're going to do that with our steel mace, with the left palm facing up with the mace head right next to it, and then flip with the same drill with the mace in the right hand. So I'm taking the left palm facing up, right hand palm down. Let me just make sure I'm not going to hit the furniture. Okay. So you have your setup, lengthening the legs and or knees bent, lowering that right leg. Head up or head down, we start squared. Slight tip up of the tailbone. My right leg is going to lower, the left arm goes back. I'm pulling apart on the stick, and then inhale, exhale, or the mace I should say, back to center. Now that 15 pounds is going back in line with my ear. You have to have healthy shoulders for this. We're going to do 3 more pull apart. Inhale, exhale, stay connected. Good. 2 more. Pull apart, arm goes back. Then we square off on that exhale. Very nice. Last one. So lower back pressing down into the floor. Rib cage closed. Perfect. Soften into the knees. Take a moment. Safely transition. Again, if you don't own a steel mace, you could use your short stick. So arms, the right palm facing up, left hand, palm facing down. Take a moment, find your position. It always feels different when you transition. So now the left leg is going to lower, right arm goes back. I'm pulling apart on the mace, get a nice reach. Inhale, exhale, back to that start position. Left leg, lengthen, right arm back. Inhale, exhale, back to that start. We have 3 more. Pull apart, stay connected, and back to center. Last 2. Reach, bicep in line with the ear. Use your breath. Pull apart on that mace. Core should be burning, and back to start. Good. Take a moment, safely place your mace to the floor, and windshield wiper, knees to the left, eyes to the right, and then knees to the right, look to your left. Excellent. Take a moment, we're going to come to stand. Okay, so we have 15 minutes left in class. Let's do it. Let's go for that overhead press. So we're going to prime first with our short stick. If you need your pillow or towel to kneel on, please place it underneath the left knee. You're going to take your right leg forward. In your knee down lunge, you're driving through that flat front right foot. Anchor with the ball of the left foot. Squeeze that glute. Fix the alignment of your pelvis. Take your stick and you're going to push. It's going to be wider, the hand placement, excuse me. It's going to be to the outside of the shoulder line. You're going to crush the stick, push into the stick. Inhale, exhale, press up overhead, lengthen those arms, pull apart, and draw it back in. Good. Push, breathe, pull apart. Let's do one more, then we'll switch legs. Push, crush the stick, nice and slow and controlled. Chin neutral, pull apart, don't forget to breathe, and slowly lower. Other side. So now our right leg is back, left leg forward. Again, take a moment, find that alignment. You just did that dead bug. Front line of the body is ready to work. Push into the stick. Press up overhead. Pull apart. So you're lifting out of your lower back. Push. Breathe. Arms should be shaking. Excellent. Pull apart. Let's do one more. Push, crush, nice and controlled, up overhead. Activate those lats, almost like you're doing a pull down. Pull, and release. We're gonna switch back over now to our right leg forward. Now you could play with, again, different variations and how far you wanna hold away from the weight of the mace head. When the right leg is forward, you can perform this with the mace head on the open hip or over that front leg. Today, we're going to take the mace head to the open hip side. So we have the right leg forward. Now again, if you want to hold more in the center of the mace, you can. Or the left hand could be closer towards the mace head. If you want to stick with a stability challenge, you're going to have to find that position where you're about shoulder width apart. So I have overhand, taking it again in line with the chest. Now I'm going to have this kind of left side, my right side, really have to kind of pull down. So this side's going to pull, and I'm also going to be pressing with that outside left arm. So activate, hold here, watch your alignment, inhale, exhale, press, up overhead. Now when it's overhead, I'm going to pull apart and bring it back to that start position. Again, crush, press up overhead, maintain that alignment. Pause, chin neutral, pull apart, activate the back. So that weight is going to want to pull me down. Crush. Inhale, exhale, press. Pause here for a moment. Watch your alignment. Now pull, pull as you lower. Great. And then slowly take Mace head down to the floor. So you're working a lot of stability through the trunk of the body, the hip line, obviously shoulder strength, and working the hands and forearms. So now left leg is forward, right knee is down. You're gonna find too that it may be more challenging on one side. Overhand, my elbow, I'm taking it into my waist to help me to take the Mace up. You're in your starting position. We're gonna crush the stick, lift out of the lower back, press up overhead. So if you don't have your Mace, you're gonna use your stick mobility stick, pull. Excellent. Stay connected. Push, press. I could always, this side's a little bit more awkward for me. And now pull apart on the way down. Focus on your breath, chin is neutral, lift it out of the lower back. Crush, press, breathe. Excellent. Stay connected. Pull apart. Pull as you lower. Easy. There we go. Taking it down to the ground. Well done. So those were our 3 variations today using the steel Mace. You could refer back to the previous classes, again, where we cover proper rack position, proper cast of the Mace head, how to create a seamless swing in the back swing. We covered the pendulum 1, 2, 3 pull, 10 and 2, and 360. Now we're gonna unwind with some stretching, starting with a single stick. We're gonna go into our snake reach. Right leg is forward, left leg is back. You're gonna take your stick inside of that right thigh. Left hand comes up high. If you need a modification, you're gonna bend that elbow. So it's dependent on how comfortable you are, if you have anything inhibiting your shoulder. Now, right arm is gonna extend and reach out to the side. And then I want you to thread that right arm through the gap between your shirt and the stick. Squeezing that left glute, you're gonna wrap your waist forward, so the hip is going forward towards the camera here. And look over your right shoulder. Really working into that shoulder girdle. A little bit of a tricep stretch here too, but not much. Getting into those lateral lines down into the hip. Hold and breathe. Let's do another one. So slowly come out of it. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Begin that wrap. I'm going to allow my left hip to fall out gently to the side as you look over the right shoulder. Stay here. Breathe. And then we're going to slowly come out of it. Release that bottom right hand and slide the stick out. Other side. Left leg is forward. Stick to the inside of the left thigh. Here comes that right hand again, high, or you could bend that elbow. Thread your left arm through, and then begin that rotation. Look inward over that left shoulder. Stay with your breath. Push down into the stick, push down into the foot. Slowly come out of it. You can even thread that arm up a little bit higher if you wish. So getting all down the arm, down into the shoulder girdle, into the lateral lines. Breathe. This one can be quite intense sometimes. And then we're going to release. Slowly come out of it. Use your stick. Come to stand. We're going to go into half kneeling monkey hang. Stick is going to stay on that left side. Simply cross your right leg over your left. When your left knee comes down to the floor, you're going to take the stick close to that hip line. Your right hand is going to come across. Now notice I've got this hip, this knee turned out, foot turned out. Same thing with that back left foot. It's kind of, instead of being squared off, it's a little bit windshield wiper out to the side. Right arm comes across and now I'm gonna pull with that right arm. I'm driving down into the stick, going a little bit deeper into the lateral line and into the QL and hip. Excellent. Now, as we come out of it, I want you to slide your left hand down. So it's either in line with the shoulder or just slightly higher. Squeeze that back left glute so you have that stability. Push into the feet. Reach your right arm forward. And then opening that front line, look back behind you. You'll feel this across your chest, down in the bicep and forearm. And then slowly come out of it. Realign, tuck, drive up, and we switch to the other side. Left leg crossing over the right. Right knee to the floor, so you can use that pad or pillow if you need it. Right in line with the hip. Left hand comes across. Midline of the body. I'm going to let that right hip drape out to the side. Inside left shoulder is down, and I'm leveraging and pulling across. Breathe here. Good. Stay with it. And then gently release. Slide your right hand down. Take that tailbone under. Left arm forward. And then you're going to look back behind you. So the more you're driving down into the stick, the more you could get out of the stretch. Hold. Come through center. Square off. Slowly come to stand. We're going to take the stick now onto our right shoulder. Square off your hip line. So you're going to go into a staggered stance. Soften that right knee. And if you want, you could extend and reach that left arm forward, or you could take that left hand across to rest on the top of the right, and you're just going to pull back and get a nice hamstring stretch. Take a moment, flatten the foot, watch the alignment with the hips, lift your belly, reach. You're bending into that right knee, I should say, lengthening that left leg. Good. Slowly come to stand. We transition. Stick on the left shoulder. Stagger your stance. Find that alignment so you don't want your hips to shift out to the side too much here. And hinge. Pull back. Breathe. If you can, again, avoid kind of scooping out your center. Empower your position. Slide those shoulders down and back. Work on that hip hinge. Slowly come out of it. And then we're going to go one more here. Draw back. Good. Let's hold 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4. Flatten the foot. Come to stand. Now, last stretch. I want you to heel toe out, wider, going into ninja hip hinge. Take it to the floor, bend into that left knee. Angle, look upward towards the ceiling, and then downward towards the floor. Upward towards the ceiling, and then downward towards the floor. Shift your body weight now. Hold on this side. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, go deeper into your stretch. Excellent. Soften into both knees. Release, right over to left. Again, you could decide how far over you want to take the bottom of the stick. Instead of taking my body weight forward, I'm pulling that body weight back, pulling apart the floor with the feet. Look upward towards the ceiling, and then downward towards the floor. Again. From here, bend into that left knee, lengthen the right. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, shift and go deeper into the stretch. Hold here 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3, and on 4, soften into knees. Release through center. heel toe in gently. I just want to thank you all for joining me today. This class will be uploaded to the Instagram page and onto the Stick Mobility YouTube channel, which we have, I think this is about 330 classes, along with the Movement Made Better podcast. You could find me on Instagram at kelsbells88. I'm always open to feedback. I will be off for the month of July and returning for the month of August. If you have any questions about Mace training, feel free to reach out, and you could reference back to the classes that we've been teaching all month. So thank you, and talk to you soon.